Now that we have a license associated with our login ID, let's see how it looks slightly different during our application process. We're going to go back to our building or permit now to create an application, a new application, and see what it looks like at the very beginning. So unlike the first time that we ran through this, where it asked us directly for the address, the first step is now to select a license. Because there is a license associated with our login ID, it wants us to tell the system, do you want to start this process as that entity or just as an applicant that doesn't have that connected license? So I'm going to go ahead and pick the connected license. It's going to show me the information. It's Mike Jones from Acme Construction, and I'm going to continue the application. So now we're back to our same process. The difference now is I'm going to pick 33 instead of 22, and we're going to search a more generic result window. I'm going to pick 33 6th Avenue in Largo. So I'm going to click on that to show what the result screen looks like, as well as the associated parcel and the associated owner that comes in with that information. I'm going to click on select. In doing so, will pre-fill all that information on my intake form. And we can see that my intake form is now complete. We're going to continue the application. And I'm going to go ahead and give this a description here. It is a required field. If I try to submit without it, it won't let me. And I'm going to give it a job value and continue. Again, I'm going to pick here, answer all the questions. It's going to be a building, and we're going to call it a windows and doors. Now, depending on what you choose here, some fields will become required. The first time around, we picked, rather than windows and doors, we picked the soffit and fascia. So you'll notice these red asterisks here, which mark that the field is required, disappear when I pick soffit and fascia because they're not really required for that permit type. But if I pick windows and doors, now these fields are required. Numbers of windows and doors being replaced size for size. I'm going to put 5. Um, Replacements or shutters, numbers of units. It's going to be 1 unit. And then the number of floors are receiving the replacement. So I'm going to say 1. And then it's going to require the NOA or the approval number. So I'm just going to enter a number string here. But all of that will be required because of the permit type combination that I picked. As we click on continue, another difference that you'll notice is the first time around that we ran through this, we had to choose a licensed professional because now there is a license associated with this application and we started off by telling the system that we were using that license. That's already been selected for us here in the licensed professional section. Also on the applicant side, you can click on select from account, and what you'll notice is that we have actually 3 options. We have Mike Jones, the ACA person without the license. We have Acme Construction, which is associated with Mike Jones' account. That's Acme Construction LLC, or the owner. So who's the applicant for this? I'm going to stick with our initial approach, and we're going to say that this is going to be initiated by the company or the license holder. And we're going to click on continue. And the rest of the process is the same. So we'll, for the sake of having a second record, we'll have this added to the system. We need an additional documentation here because it's windows and doors. So we're going to go ahead and just add a file. Pick the correct category. I'm just going to say that it's a document, and we're going to click on save. That information has now been added. There it is, and we continue our application. This is our review window where we're going to certify that everything is correct, and we're going to continue our application. And we're going to pay the fee, which is $142 for this particular application type. I forgot one piece of information. And we get our confirmation here that record number 55 has been issued, EBP-20-00055. Again, as before, we can go directly into the record, or we can navigate to the home screen from here. If you want to take a look at the receipt at this time, there's also the button which says print or view the receipt for the fees that you have just paid. This will pop up a screen or pop-up window, which will show you the receipt that you can then print so you can continue. So now we have two records on our system. I'm going to go back to home and click on my records. And now you can see how the records are going to start to appear when you have multiple records here, right? So these are two different records for two different addresses, and this line is just going to continue to grow. We're going to add a couple of sample records now for a couple of other departments, and then we'll see what that looks like.